The forest held its breath, silent, endless, ancient, until the air ripped with a violent scream. Thunder cracked like the sky itself was splitting. Amelia whispered, "Something is coming." Lightning clawed through the canopy, tearing shadows apart. Daniel said, "Run now." Rain crashed down, drowning the soft hum of crickets. The innocent little Claire stumbled in the mud, gasping. Amelia's arms reached, trembling, pulling Claire up, her eyes wide with primal fear. Daniel's gaze shot into the distance, where glowing eyes flashed between trees. A wolf pack surged forward, muscle and hunger wrapped in fur, their paws breaking the earth's calm rhythm. Amelia said, "They will not stop." The storm turned savage, wind-whipping leaves into a furious dance. A branch cracked and fell, splitting the ground inches away. Claire cried, "It hurts." Her voice cut through the roar. Daniel said, "You must keep moving." His chest heaved, face streaked with water and mud. Lightning struck again, painting the forest in stark white for one agonizing heartbeat. Shadows twisted like living demons, trees swaying, soil flooding. The forest breathed with rage, alive, ruthless. The air reeked of wet earth, blood, and fear. Amelia whispered, "This is nature's judgment." Every heartbeat was thunder. Every step was death closing in. And yet, they ran. The storm howled like a beast, tearing branches free, clawing at every breath. Amelia gasped, "We can't outrun them." Daniel's feet slammed into mud, splashes soaking his legs. He said, "We don't have to outrun the storm, only survive it." Claire's sobs echoed louder than thunder, piercing through Amelia's chest like blades. Lightning lit up the wolves again, closer now, their growls vibrating in the air. Amelia stumbled, knees buckling, arms burning as she carried Claire tighter. Daniel's arms shot back, gripping her wrist, dragging her forward. He shouted, "Stay with me." The trees twisted and moaned under the storm's weight, roots ripping free. The forest was not shelter now, it was a grave. Amelia's heart slammed in her chest, rhythm sensing with thunder. She whispered, "This forest was alive long before us, and it will bury us tonight." Claire buried her face into Amelia's shoulder, muffling her screams. The earth shook with every thunderclap, with every paw strike. Daniel turned his head, just once, and in his eyes lived both defiance and dread. The path twisted into darkness, roots clawing upward like hands reaching from graves. Amelia stumbled again, her breath ragged. Claire whimpered, "I'm scared." Amelia said, "Hold on, I won't let go." Daniel surged ahead, chest heaving, his eyes burning against the night. He growled, "We must keep moving, they're gaining." Behind them, the wolves' growls layered with thunder, a deadly chorus. Amelia's arms shook under Claire's weight, every step agony. She whispered, "The forest is watching." The storm answered with another lightning strike, splitting a tree in half, flames igniting briefly before rain smothered them. Daniel turned, sweat and rain mixing on his face, and yelled, "Faster!" His voice broke, desperation raw. Claire's sobs weakened, her head sinking against Amelia's neck. Each breath from Amelia was a war cry, each step a prayer. The ground turned to swamp, sucking at their feet. Shadows stretched, twisted, shifted like phantoms with each flash. Amelia thought, just for a heartbeat, that the forest wanted them gone. The storm grew crueler, snapping trees like bones, swallowing their cries. Daniel turned back, his face lit by lightning, shouting, "Don't stop!" Amelia staggered, clutching Claire tighter, her body screaming from strain. She whispered, "If I fall, promise you'll save her." Daniel's eyes blazed. No one falls tonight. The wolves lunged from the shadows, their snarls tearing the night open. Amelia's heart slammed, fear flooding her veins. Claire cried, "They're here!" Amelia's arms shook, every muscle collapsing under weight and terror. Daniel grabbed a broken branch, holding it like a spear, his chest rising in defiance. He said, "We make our stand." The rain blurred his figure, yet in his stance lived raw fury. The wolves circled closer, glowing eyes unblinking. The storm screamed above, the earth trembling below. Amelia's voice cracked. The forest decides who breathes tonight. The world collapsed into chaos. Rain hammered like iron, thunder shattered the air, wolves leapt forward. Amelia screamed, "Run!" Daniel thrust the branch with primal force, wood splitting against snarling jaws. Claire shrieked, burying her face into Amelia's chest. A wolf lunged, teeth flashing, but Daniel shoved back with a roar. Mud splashed, blood streaked across rainwater. Amelia staggered sideways, nearly falling with Claire in her arms. She said, "We can't win this." Daniel's voice broke, "Then we fight, until nothing's left." His eyes burned like fire against storm. Wolves circled tighter, growls layered like drums. Amelia's tears mixed with rain, her chest trembling, her arms cradling Claire like glass. Claire sobbed, "I want to go home." Amelia whispered, "This is home, but it wants us gone." Lightning split sky again, the forest painted in white terror. Wolves lunged once more, and the night screamed with them. The storm calmed just enough for breath, yet danger still pulsed in the shadows. Amelia cradled Claire tighter, whispering, "You are safe with me." Claire's trembling fingers dug into her mother's dress. Daniel limped beside them, his chest rising like a bellows. He said, "We must find shelter before dawn." The forest, though quieter, dripped with menace. Water trickled from broken branches, and the smell of wet bark filled the air. Wolves lingered unseen, their growls fading but not gone. Amelia's heart beat heavy, her arms stiff from carrying Claire's fragile weight. She whispered again, "I won't let them take you." Claire's small voice cracked. "Promise?" Amelia kissed her muddy forehead, whispering, "Always." Daniel's jaw tightened, his eyes searching every shadow, his steps dragging but steady. He muttered, "Every second counts now." The forest stretched endless, every trunk a wall, every shadow a threat. And yet, within Amelia's arms, Claire's fragile breath was the only sound that mattered. The storm was cruel, but love was heavier. A clearing opened ahead, mist curling like smoke across the ground. Amelia whispered, "Here, we can rest for a moment." Daniel shook his head, saying, "Rest is death." His eyes flicked toward the tree line, haunted. Claire stirred weakly, whispering, "I'm cold." Amelia's arms pulled her close, her lips pressing against the child's damp hair. "I'll keep you warm," she whispered fiercely. Daniel's shoulders sagged, his breath ragged, but he stayed alert. A fallen tree lay in the clearing, moss glowing faintly under the moonlight. Amelia lowered Claire gently against it, though her eyes never left Daniel's. He muttered, "The pack is patient. They will wait for weakness." Claire whimpered, curling her knees to her chest, her tears glistening in the pale light. Amelia brushed them away, saying softly, "Close your eyes for a heartbeat." The forest groaned under the storm's fading weight, but within the small circle of family, the fragile anchor of survival glowed brighter than fear. Amelia's arms trembled as she adjusted Claire's weight, though she smiled faintly, whispering, "You are stronger than you know." Claire buried her face against Amelia's neck, muffling, "I just want to go home." Daniel crouched nearby, carving into wet earth with a stick, his jaw tight. He said, "Home is survival. Nothing else." His voice carried both steel and grief. Amelia's heart ached, her eyes glancing at Daniel, her whisper sharp, "She's only a child." He looked up, his gaze hard, rain streaking down his cheeks. "Children die here," he said, "unless we fight harder than the forest." Claire whimpered, clinging tighter. Amelia pressed her lips against her daughter's temple, whispering promises she wasn't sure she could keep. The wolves' distant howls pierced the silence, rolling across the trees like thunder. Amelia froze, her body stiff. Daniel rose slowly, every muscle taut. He muttered, "They remind us we are prey." The clearing shrank under the sound, hope folding into dread. The forest pulsed with uneasy silence. Amelia shifted Claire in her arms, whispering, "Do not listen to them." Claire asked, "The wolves?" Amelia's lips trembled. "Yes, but also the forest. It whispers lies." Daniel moved closer, his presence firm. He said, "Fear makes the mind weak." His hand brushed Amelia's shoulder briefly, grounding her. Claire stirred, eyes red from crying, whispering, "I'm hungry." Amelia's chest tightened. "I know, little one." Daniel's gaze darted to the ground, searching for roots, anything edible, but the earth was bare, stripped by flood. He muttered, "The forest offers nothing tonight." Amelia's voice cracked. "Then it takes from us instead." A cold gust carried the faint scent of blood, mingling with wet soil. Claire shivered violently, clutching Amelia tighter. Amelia whispered into her ear, "You are my heart." The silence grew unbearable until Daniel exhaled sharply, muttering, "It's watching us." His eyes lifted toward the dark canopy, where no stars shone. The night deepened, pressing in like a suffocating shroud. Amelia cradled Claire close, rocking slightly, whispering, "Sleep, if you can." Daniel paced the clearing, his silhouette a restless shadow. He said, "Sleep invites death." Amelia's eyes blazed. "She is a child, Daniel." He stopped, staring at her, his breath sharp. "Children grow if they live," he said. Claire whimpered, clutching Amelia tighter, whispering, "Please don't leave me." Amelia kissed her damp hair, whispering, "Never." Daniel turned away, fists clenched, his voice rough. "I hear them moving. They are circling." Amelia's stomach twisted with dread, her grip on Claire iron. The forest creaked, distant rustling threading through the trees. A sudden silence fell, heavier than thunder. Amelia whispered, "It is the silence before the strike." Daniel stood tall, his back rigid, his eyes burning into the shadows. He said, "Then let them come." His words cracked the silence, but fear still clawed at Amelia's chest. The dawn refused to break, shadows clinging like blood. Daniel pushed branches aside, voice raw. "We cannot stop now." Amelia stumbled after him, Claire clinging to her neck. Claire whispered, "I'm so tired." Amelia kissed her hair, murmuring, "Hold on, little one." The forest grew thicker, air heavy with damp decay. Wolves followed unseen, their breathing carried in gusts of wind. Daniel's hand brushed the hilt of a sharp rock he carried, muttering, "Every step is war." Amelia's voice cracked. She cannot endure much more. Daniel spun, eyes blazing. "Then we carry her, or we die here." Claire's sobs echoed softly, swallowed by towering trunks. A sudden snap split the silence, the crunch of a paw on branches. Amelia froze, clutching Claire tighter. Daniel said, "They're closer than ever." His chest heaved, sweat mixed with rain dripping from his jaw. Amelia's heart raced, whispering, "The forest does not want us alive." The ground turned treacherous, mud sucking at their feet with every step. Claire whimpered, "It hurts." Amelia whispered, "I will not let go." Her legs shook, but her arms tightened around her daughter. Daniel's voice cut sharp, "Faster, Amelia, they hunt harder when we slow." Behind them, a howl rose, chilling the marrow. Amelia gasped. "They are driving us forward." Daniel muttered, "Wolves do not chase for sport, they chase to kill." His hands clenched, veins pulsing in his arms. The forest's cries grew louder, branches snapping, wings flapping in chaos. Claire buried her face into Amelia's shoulder, sobbing. Amelia whispered through gritted teeth, "I will bleed before I lose you." Daniel turned suddenly, his eyes wide at a shadow streaking past. He hissed, "They are not waiting any longer." The silence broke with growls close, too close. Amelia's heart hammered, each breath a blade. They burst into a thicket, branches clawing skin, tearing fabric. Amelia cried out, "Please, no more." Claire whimpered softly, her voice fading. Daniel swung his arm, breaking branches aside. He said, "We push through or die here." The wolves howled again, closer than before, their eyes flickering in the undergrowth. Amelia stumbled, knees sinking into mud, almost falling with Claire. She screamed, "I can't." Daniel rushed back, grabbing her elbow, pulling her upright. "You can," he snarled, eyes blazing. Claire moaned faintly, whispering, "Mommy." Amelia's heart shattered, whispering, "I am here. Always." The forest's canopy blackened the sky, letting only streaks of pale light through. Thunder rumbled faintly, a new storm brewing. Daniel growled, "Nature itself wants us gone." Amelia whispered back, "Then, let it fight me." They staggered forward, skins scraped, breath torn, shadows lunging at every turn. The path narrowed, roots twisting like serpents across the ground. Daniel stepped first, his voice harsh, "Careful here." Amelia followed, clutching Claire, her eyes wild. Claire whimpered, "I can't breathe." Amelia whispered urgently, "Stay with me." Wolves moved in the undergrowth, glowing eyes darting, bodies invisible but present. Daniel's rock weapon glistened with rain, his grip iron. He muttered, "They want to corner us." Amelia's chest tightened. "They're playing with us." A growl echoed, low and vibrating through the soil. Claire whimpered, her tiny fists clutching Amelia's soaked dress. Amelia's tears mixed with rain as she whispered, "You will not take her from me." Daniel turned sharply, his eyes fire, "Then fight with me." The wolves burst closer, their forms brushing shadows. Amelia's breath cracked, every heartbeat a scream. The clearing erupted into chaos. Wolves leapt from shadows, mud spraying, teeth flashing. Daniel roared, slamming his stone into the air, striking fur and fury. Amelia screamed, pulling Claire against her chest, falling to her knees. Claire wailed, "Don't let them take me." Daniel shoved a wolf back, blood streaking his arm. He growled, "Over my body." Amelia's vision blurred, her arms burning, her voice trembling. "We are not prey." The wolves circled, snarling, their bodies a storm of hunger. Daniel's chest heaved, his shirt torn into ribbons, his eyes fire in the dark. Amelia pressed her face against Claire's wet hair, whispering, "You are my world." Claire sobbed, "Please." Lightning cracked, illuminating wolves closing in from every side. Daniel raised his weapon again, screaming into the storm, "Come then." The air was blood, mud, and thunder. The wolves slowed their attack, circling like shadows caught between hunger and hesitation. Amelia clutched Claire tighter, whispering, "Why don't they strike?" Daniel stood rigid, chest heaving, blood streaking his arm. He growled, "They're waiting." A deeper howl split the night, older and heavier, a sound of authority. From the trees emerged a single wolf, scarred across its muzzle, limping with age yet burning with command. Amelia gasped, "It's wounded." Claire whimpered softly, "It looks tired." Daniel's grip on the stone faltered, his voice uncertain, "This one, it is not hunting us. It is warning us." The pack lowered their heads, not lunging, not attacking. Amelia's heart twisted as she whispered, "They are not our killers tonight." Daniel's eyes narrowed, confusion etched across his face. The forest roared again with wind, yet the wolves held their line. For the first time, danger felt like mercy, and the truth bent the story of prey and predator. The scarred wolf locked eyes with Daniel, unflinching. Daniel whispered, "It knows me." Amelia's breath hitched. "No, it knows your weakness." Claire stirred, her voice shaking, "It's hurt like us." The wolf growled low, not a threat but a warning that echoed through the trees. The pack shifted uneasily, their hunger restrained. Daniel lowered the stone slightly, whispering, "They hunt because they must, not because they want." Amelia's eyes shimmered with tears. "We thought them monsters, but they are prisoners too." Claire's small hand tugged at Amelia's dress, whispering, "It's scared." The forest around them pulsed alive, the truth dawning that survival was not cruelty but necessity. Daniel's voice cracked, "The enemy is not them." Amelia finished for him, whispering, It is use, the humans who take more than they give. The scarred wolf howled again, and the pack melted into shadows, leaving the family trembling yet untouched. Silence fell heavier than the storm had ever been. Amelia whispered, "Why let us go?" Daniel's voice rumbled, "Because their war is not with us. It is with hunger." Claire murmured, "It was sad." The trees bent in the wind, leaves raining like tears. Amelia's arms trembled, but she kissed Claire's forehead, whispering, "We will carry this truth." Daniel's gaze lingered where the wolves vanished, his jaw tight. He muttered, "They are not shadows chasing us. They are shadows surviving." The forest felt changed, no longer an enemy but a mirror. Amelia said, "We saw cruelty, but it was never theirs." Claire's soft voice carried, "It was ours, wasn't it?" Daniel swallowed hard, unable to answer, only nodding with sorrow. The howl echoed once more, far and fading, but it lived inside them like a wound that could never close. They pressed onward, but every step carried new weight. Amelia whispered to Claire, "You are alive because they chose mercy." Daniel walked ahead, shoulders hunched, muttering, "Mercy does not last long here." Claire whispered, "Will they be okay?" Amelia kissed her temple, saying, "They live as long as the forest feeds them." Daniel's voice hardened, "And when the forest fails, they starve." His words stung like arrows, truth as sharp as claws. The trees groaned under the storm's aftermath, roots drowning in water, leaves stripped bare. Amelia said softly, "The forest bleeds like us." Claire's tiny hands clung tighter, her breath quick and shallow. Daniel's jaw clenched, his eyes scanning every broken branch. He muttered, "And we are the ones who cut deepest." The forest grew quieter, not safe, but watching, as if measuring their worth. Amelia whispered, "It judges, and tonight we were spared." The family stumbled upon a river, its current raging with storm's aftermath. Daniel scanned its length, voice low, "We cannot cross safely." Amelia tightened her hold on Claire, whispering, "Then we follow it." Claire lifted her head weakly, whispering, "It sounds angry." Amelia said, "It is alive, like the wolves, like us." Daniel crouched at the bank, dipping his hand into the freezing torrent. He muttered, "This water carries blood and roots. It is no friend either." Amelia whispered, "Nor is it an enemy." The river foamed white, roaring louder than their breaths. Claire clung tighter, shivering, whispering, "I'm scared of everything now." Amelia kissed her head, whispering, "Fear keeps us breathing." Daniel's eyes followed the current, grim, muttering, "It leads us deeper into truth we may not want." The forest, the wolves, the storm, all echoed in the river's fury, as if revealing that survival was only half the story. The river roared louder than thunder, its waves thrashing against jagged rocks. Daniel shouted, "We have no choice, we cross." Amelia clutched Claire tighter, her eyes wide with terror. She cried, "The current will kill her." Claire whimpered, "I'm scared." Daniel's voice cut sharp, "Fear does not matter, living does." He tore branches from the ground, tying them into a crude rope. Amelia's hands shook, whispering, "If we fall, she will be lost." Daniel met her eyes, fire blazing, "If we stay, we all die." The river surged, foam spraying their faces, the earth shaking beneath its fury. Amelia kissed Claire's forehead, whispering, "Trust me, little one." Claire's tiny arms locked around her neck, sobbing, "Don't let go." Daniel plunged into the water first, gripping the rope, muscles straining. He shouted, "Follow me!" Amelia stepped forward, heart pounding like drums of war. The forest screamed with wind, wolves howled distantly, and the river demanded sacrifice. Water swallowed them whole, cold like knives. Amelia gasped as current ripped at her legs. Claire screamed, "I'm slipping!" Amelia tightened her grip, shrieking, "Hold me!" Daniel strained against the torrent, his arms trembling. He roared, "Push forward!" Rocks tore at his skin, blood mixing with foam. Amelia stumbled, lungs burning, but she forced each step. Claire's face pressed into her neck, her cries muffled by water and storm. Daniel shouted over the roar, "Do not stop!" The rope snapped against his palms, tearing skin. Amelia cried, "We're drowning!" Daniel's face twisted in rage, "Not tonight." The current surged higher, waves slamming their bodies, dragging them sideways. Amelia's vision blurred, but she whispered, "Breathe, baby, breathe." Claire whimpered faintly, clinging like roots to her mother's body. Daniel pushed with every ounce of strength, carving a path through chaos. The forest's voice faded, replaced by the river's merciless scream. A massive wave crashed, tearing Daniel under. Amelia screamed, "Daniel!" The rope slipped from his grasp, disappearing beneath white water. Claire shrieked, "Don't leave him!" Amelia's tears mixed with river spray, her grip on Claire iron. Daniel surfaced yards away, coughing blood, fighting to stay above the current. He roared, "Keep moving!" Amelia's legs trembled, knees buckling. She cried, "I can't!" Daniel's voice broke across water, "You must!" Wolves howled faintly from the far shore, their voices twisted with hunger. Amelia pressed Claire's head to her chest, whispering, "Close your eyes." Her muscles screamed, but she stumbled forward, each step a war. Daniel dragged himself along jagged rocks, blood dripping into the current. His jaw clenched, eyes wild with rage and love. "I will not lose you," he bellowed. The river answered with another wave, crashing into them all. The far bank glimmered under pale moonlight, salvation within reach yet torn by fury. Amelia's feet sank into mud, her body collapsing, Claire whimpering faintly. Daniel dragged himself forward, arm bleeding, eyes glazed but unbroken. He growled, "Almost there." Amelia sobbed, "I can't carry her any farther." Daniel staggered to his feet, seizing Amelia's wrist, shouting, "Then I will carry you both." His chest rose like a furnace, every breath a fight. Claire's weak voice whispered, "Don't stop." Amelia's heart shattered, but her body obeyed. They clawed onto the bank, mud swallowing their limbs. The river screamed behind them, a beast unsatisfied. Daniel collapsed to his knees, gasping, his hand trembling as it touched Amelia's arm. He whispered, "We lived." Amelia kissed Claire's forehead, whispering, because he refused to fall. The forest loomed ahead, darker than before, as if demanding more blood. The wolves stood at the tree line, waiting, glowing eyes unblinking. Amelia froze, clutching Claire's fragile body. She whispered, "We crossed for nothing." Daniel rose slowly, body trembling, blood dripping into mud. He said, "No, we crossed into truth." The scarred wolf stepped forward, silent, its breath fogging in the cold night. Daniel dropped the stone, his weapon gone, arms spread wide. He whispered, "Take me, but let them go." Amelia cried, "No." Claire whimpered, "Daddy." Daniel's body shook, but his eyes never left the wolf's. The air froze, silent, except for the river's dying roar. The wolf stopped, head tilting, then turned away. The pack followed, fading like smoke into trees. Amelia sobbed, collapsing to her knees with Claire in her arms. Daniel staggered, falling beside them, his breath shallow. He whispered, "They spared us again." The night swallowed them whole, but mercy had reshaped their fate. The river's roar faded behind them, but silence pressed heavier than sound. Amelia collapsed into the mud, clutching Claire. She whispered, "You are safe." Claire's weak voice cracked, "I'm so tired." Daniel staggered, falling to his knees, his chest heaving. Blood streamed from his arm, dripping into dark soil. He groaned, "I can't stand." Amelia's eyes filled with tears. "You've given everything." Claire stirred, reaching toward Daniel with trembling fingers, whispering, "Daddy, die." His lips curved faintly, whispering, "I am here." The forest around them creaked with wind, yet no wolves emerged. Amelia kissed Claire's forehead, whispering, "Sleep, my love." Daniel's breath rattled, his body shaking. He muttered, "The forest spares us, but it takes a price." Amelia's gaze lingered on his wound, dread heavy in her chest. She whispered, "Then I will pay it with you." The night loomed eternal, yet mercy carried them forward. The first rays of dawn broke through the canopy, faint gold streaks cutting across mist. Amelia whispered, "Morning came, but we are not saved." Claire stirred weakly, blinking through exhaustion. She whispered, "It's pretty." Daniel's body trembled, his eyes heavy-lidded. He muttered, "The forest hides beauty and cruelty." Amelia brushed hair from Claire's face, whispering, "You are my light." Daniel coughed, blood on his lips, his voice raw. "Her light is stronger than the storm." Amelia's chest tightened, her hand pressing his wound. She cried softly, "Stay with me." His hand gripped hers faintly, whispering, "I will, until the forest decides otherwise." Claire leaned against Amelia, her tiny hand brushing Daniel's fingers. She whispered, "We're together." Amelia kissed her cheek, whispering, "Yes, together." The dawn shimmered through broken leaves, fragile and fleeting. They walked slowly, each step dragging through mud. Daniel leaned heavily against a broken branch he used as a crutch. He said, "The forest tests us still." Amelia carried Claire, her arms trembling, whispering, "I will not drop her." Claire murmured faintly, "I want to sleep forever." Amelia's heart clenched, whispering, "Not yet, my little one." Daniel's breath rattled, sweat streaking his face. He muttered, "Every step feels stolen." Amelia's eyes burned, whispering, "Then let us steal a few more." The trees thinned slightly, sunlight piercing in jagged shafts. The air smelled of wet bark and iron, the scent of survival. Claire's eyes closed, her breathing shallow. Amelia kissed her hair, whispering, "Breathe." Daniel stumbled, falling to one knee. He groaned, "Go without me." Amelia screamed, "No!" Her eyes blazed, her voice shaking. "We are bound together." They reached a hollow where the earth opened into a shallow cave. Daniel collapsed against the wall, sliding down with a groan. Amelia laid Claire gently onto soft moss, brushing her hair. She whispered, "Rest, my angel." Daniel's voice rasped, "This place, it feels like a grave." Amelia shook her head, whispering, "No, it's shelter." Claire stirred faintly, her lips parting. "I'm hungry." Amelia's chest tightened, whispering, "I know." Daniel pressed a hand to his wound, blood soaking through. He muttered, "The forest takes, but it also gives. We must find something." Amelia's voice cracked, "I can't leave them." Daniel's gaze met hers, fierce despite weakness. "Then I will crawl," he said. She cried, "No." Claire whimpered, clutching Amelia's dress in her sleep. Amelia pulled them both close, whispering, "We survived together or not at all." Hours passed in restless silence, the cave a fragile sanctuary. Amelia rocked Claire gently, whispering prayers. Daniel stirred faintly, his voice a whisper, "The forest gave us one more breath." Amelia's tears streaked her cheeks, whispering, "Do not leave us." Claire opened her eyes weakly, whispering, "I'm still here." Amelia kissed her forehead, whispering, "Yes, my love." Daniel groaned, his hand reaching out, brushing Claire's fingers. He whispered, "That is enough." Amelia shook her head violently, "No, it will never be enough." The wind moaned through the trees, carrying echoes of wolves, not menacing but mournful. Amelia listened, her heart pounding. She whispered, "They sing for us." Daniel closed his eyes, whispering, "They sing for themselves too." Claire pressed her face into Amelia's chest, whispering, "Don't let go." Amelia's arms tightened like steel, whispering, "Never." The forest stood still, every leaf frozen in dawn's pale breath. Amelia cradled Claire, rocking gently, whispering, "We are still here." Claire's voice quivered, "Will the wolves return?" Daniel's body shuddered as he leaned against the cave wall, whispering, "They already did, in mercy." Amelia's eyes filled with quiet fire, "Then we owe them our survival." Claire pressed her head against Amelia's chest, her whisper faint, "I'm not afraid anymore." Daniel's lips curved weakly, muttering, "Fear kept us alive." Amelia kissed Claire's hair, whispering, "Love kept us alive." The cave breathed silence, broken only by the distant call of crows. Daniel closed his eyes, his voice hoarse. "The forest gave us one more day. That is all it ever gives." Amelia stared at the light spilling into the cave, whispering, "Then we live that day as if it is eternity." The family emerged slowly into the forest, steps weak but unbroken. The air was heavy with morning mist, birds calling faintly. Amelia whispered, "The world feels different." Daniel limped with his crude crutch, muttering, "We are different." Claire's small hand clutched her mother's dress, whispering, "Where do we go?" Amelia smiled faintly through exhaustion, "Forward." Daniel's breath rattled, but his eyes burned with defiance. He said, "Until there is nothing left in us." The trees opened into a clearing, dew sparkling on grass, the earth reborn from the storm. Amelia's tears shimmered as she whispered, "Even after ruin, beauty grows." Claire looked upward, her voice soft, "It's like the forest forgives us." Daniel's face hardened, his voice a whisper, "But it does not forget." The clearing glowed under pale sun, as fragile as hope itself. They stopped at the edge of the clearing, staring into endless trees beyond. Amelia whispered, "This forest is endless." Claire whispered, "Will it always chase us?" Daniel's jaw tightened, his voice raw, "Nah, we carry it within us now." Amelia's heart clenched, whispering, "We are its story." Claire tilted her head, asking softly, "A good story?" Amelia kissed her forehead, whispering, "One written in blood and love." Daniel's gaze pierced the horizon, muttering, "And in hunger, always hunger." The wind stirred, branches swaying gently, not with menace but with memory. Amelia said, "The wolves taught us what it means to endure." Claire whispered, "They spared us." Daniel lowered his head, whispering, "But will we spare them when the world comes to take more?" Silence fell, a question hanging heavier than storm. They moved onward, shadows stretching long under morning light. Amelia whispered to Claire, "Each step is a gift." Claire's eyes fluttered, whispering, "I'll remember." Daniel's legs buckled, but he forced himself upright, growling, "We are not finished." Amelia's tears streamed as she whispered, "You should rest." Daniel shook his head, voice jagged, "Rest is for the dead." The air grew warmer, carrying scents of earth and moss, a lull after storms. Claire whispered, "It smells like home." Amelia's heart cracked, whispering, "Yes, my darling, this is home." Daniel's gaze swept the canopy, his eyes hollow. He muttered, "Until we are gone, and only echoes remain." The forest's breath surrounded them, not cruel, not kind, simply endless. Amelia held Claire tighter, whispering, "Let our echo be love." They reached a hill where the forest stretched forever beneath them. Amelia stood still, Claire in her arms, whispering, "Look, this is the world." Claire's eyes widened faintly, whispering, "It's beautiful." Daniel dropped to his knees, trembling, blood dripping from his arm, his chest heaving. He whispered, "And it is merciless." Amelia's tears glistened in sunlight, whispering, "Yet it breathes, even after storms." Claire laid her head against her mother, whispering, "And we breathe with it." Daniel's face lifted to the horizon, whispering, "Until the last breath is taken." The wind howled gently, carrying voices of wolves across valleys, neither threat nor comfort, only eternal. Amelia kissed Claire's temple, whispering, "Then our breath will echo forever." The final silence fell, haunting, unbroken, eternal.